Hello, hello, hello again. My name is Mubo. I'm the founder of Cyber Career Path. So today I want to answer one of the questions that I often get in my inbox. And it's always about, I don't know where to start in cybersecurity. Maybe I have a master's, I have a first degree, not necessarily in cybersecurity, but I'm interested in getting into the field of cybersecurity. Information overwhelmed right now. I just don't know where to start. Okay, so today that's what we're going to be talking about. Where exactly should you start in cybersecurity and what should be the first thing to do? Okay, again, like I said, one of the pain points that I've heard is I want to get into the field of cybersecurity. How did you get into it? I got into the field of cybersecurity a little over 10 years ago, and I'm telling you, it's totally different. It's a different landscape right now. When I got into cybersecurity over 10 years ago, I didn't have any kind of cybersecurity knowledge. I didn't have any certifications, but I was handed over a flyer, and I was desperate. Okay. I was desperate to have a good career because I was working three odd jobs. I had two little kids to take care of. And so for me, it really didn't matter what it was. I just needed a good job. I needed to not work 3 days, not three jobs, like working over God knows how many hours a week, but still not being able to pay my rent. Now, not saying that this is going to be common to everybody. This is not everybody's story. There are people who have always loved tech. They were tech babies. They grew up in a tech household. I did not. I didn't start using computers until I was 18 years old, okay? When I moved out of, when I relocated to England. So I've never been a tech baby, but, I got into cybersecurity by coincidence. I stumbled into it. And so maybe that's the reason why I share the passion that I have, because, a lot of people come to me and say, you know what? I want a better life for myself. I want to get into the field of cybersecurity. Some say I want to work remote. Some say, I want financial stability. I want a career that is stable. Okay. I found all this in cybersecurity. I always say cybersecurity saved my life. Okay. Did I have a degree in cybersecurity? Well, I was on a nursing path before I got into cybersecurity. I was working three odd jobs. I was making $18,000 a year. It wasn't enough to pay my rent. And so I was looking for a way out. I was saved by a flyer. Okay. You know how they say saved by the bell? I was saved by a flyer. A friend came into my cafe where I used to work and said, oh, my uncle is running a cybersecurity workshop. I didn't know what it was. Trust me, I did not know what that was. But I was desperate enough and curious enough to attend the workshop. When I attended the workshop, the first day I enrolled, obviously, my first class was in A+. We had to dissect the computer, look at the motherboard, look at the chip, look at the CPU. I hated it. I didn't like it, but I was desperate. I needed to get out of the financial bind that I was in so that I could provide or give a better life to my little girls. And so I went on from A+, I completed A+, then went on to Security Plus. That was where I fell in love with cybersecurity. I'm like, okay, I can read, I can write, I understand, the language. Security Plus, I think Security Plus it is. So I was already in nursing school. I'd done 2 years of nursing. And so I knew that nursing was not my thing, but everybody did nursing, right? Okay, so I went from nursing, transferred all my credits, and here I had into cybersecurity. So I have a degree in cybersecurity management and policy, and I have a minor in computer forensics. That was how I got started in cybersecurity. I didn't have a certification back then. Again, like I said, the landscape has changed. Okay, so nowadays, we're going to answer that too. Is it important to have certifications? Yes or yay or nay? Okay, we're going to answer that question. But the first thing that I want to address with the question of I don't know where to start. This is too confusing. I heard there's too many domains in cybersecurity. With my background, where can I start? Okay, let's start with this map. I hope you can see my screen. This map was created by a gentleman called Young. Okay, I'm sure I'm probably not pronouncing his name well. If he ever sees this, I'm sorry, I didn't pronounce your name well. But over 10 years ago, I didn't have access to this map, but now we have access to this map. Okay, this is to show the different aspects of cybersecurity that you can obviously take interest in. But the first thing I always say to people that come to me and say, I don't know where to start, the first thing I say to them is decide what aspect of cybersecurity do you want to get into. Think about it. Am I technical or non-technical? That's the first place to start. Am I technical or non-technical? I know some other people will disagree with me and say, you know, what's the best job that gets you the job out there? What's the job that is reigning right now? You can get the job that's reigning right now, but you're miserable. Okay? You're writing codes all day and you're miserable. Okay, you don't want to do a job and be stuck in a job that you're going to be in for a long time and be stuck in it. You're miserable, you're not happy, you hate to get up in the morning. That means you're back to where you're coming from. That's why you want another career, because you're not satisfied with what you have right now. And so you're looking for a career that's going to give you that life. You'll still be able to live your life, right? And will also give you the growth, the money, and whatever else you want, right? Okay, so I always say, okay, don't look at the shiny objects. Talk to yourself first. Am I technical or non-technical? I just told you my own story, okay? When I started out, I attended a workshop. They taught A+. I hated it. I knew if that was all cybersecurity was going to be about, just dissecting computers, looking at the CPU, the motherboard, the chip, and all of that, I knew that cybersecurity was not for me. But thank God that was not the only thing cybersecurity is about. Okay, cybersecurity will also, for people like me who can read, can write, can understand, can communicate, loves to work with people and stuff like that. I found my niche within cybersecurity. Okay, so let's look at this map. Okay, in the center of it, I hope you can see this. You know, if not, Google it. It's called cybersecurity map. Okay, so you see cybersecurity domain in the center, and all these other branches that kind of like branch off it. All right. You have the vulnerability management. Under that, you have incident response, you have data leak, you have active defense, you have security operations, those who are SOC analysts. You have the SOC, you have the SIEM, you have different aspects, okay? That's one aspect of cybersecurity that you can go to. You can be the SOC analyst, you can be the incident response person, you can be the intelligence, whatever, you can be recovery, you can be detection, that's one part. No one person can do all of this, so that's one part of it. Another part of it will be the threat intelligence, okay? That's another part of it. Threat intelligence, what does that mean? You're keeping up to date with different, cybersecurity is fluid. You're keeping in contact with, okay, so what are the new threats that are coming up? For example, my organization is part of the community that does threat intelligence. There's actually a control that speaks to threat intelligence that does your organization, have affiliations with these communities that are threat intelligence, and they keep up with different types of risks that are out there, and they share this risk and the recommendations of how to fix this risk with other organizations, right? That's another aspect. There's also another aspect, the access, they call it the IAM, identification, authentication management. It stems from the security architecture. There's the encryption aspect of it. There's the data protection. There's the network design. There's secure application. There's privilege access management. There's cloud security. There's identity management. There's identity and access management. There's secure system. So those are more technical aspects when we're talking about the V-scanning and the penetration testing and the ethical hacking. Those are very hands-on technical. There's the secure coding writing. There's the software, the developers. Name it. If you like to get your hands dirty and you like to deal with technical things, theoretical things, that's your niche. That's what you love. Go for that. Go learn the Linux aspect of it. Go learn Python. That's what you're interested in, so that you don't waste time. And for people like me who don't like technical aspects, who don't like to get their hands dirty in writing codes and network engineering and firewalls and configuring all that, there's also a place for me in cybersecurity. That's why I chose governance, risk, and compliance. And I don't necessarily develop policies, but I'm the one who reviews the policies, make sure the policies are being reviewed annually, make sure that the policy aligns with the objectives of the organization. I'm also the one who makes sure that I'm doing risk assessment, I'm doing readiness assessment, I'm helping them identify the risks that are within the environment, create a gap and say, okay, these are the recommendations that I'm making for you to remediate these gaps that we've identified. That's my job. I love doing that. Why do I love doing that? Because I get to learn from the network engineer. I get to learn from the software developer because there are controls that govern how they do their jobs. And my work is to get those controls and say, okay, give me evidence that you are complying with this control as you do your job. So once you get clear about what aspect of cyber, it could be what aspect of cybersecurity you want to get into, then you pursue that. It could be security awareness training. That's all you're doing. You're developing security awareness training. You're in an organization. You're making sure that security awareness training are deployed to the end users. You're creating trainings every time. You're making sure that new people that come into the organizations, that they get their hands on this trainings. You're making sure trainings are done by annually. Maybe that's your job. So it's not all about, oh, we have to learn how to write the codes, and we have to secure the, we have to configure the network, we have to configure the firewall, we have to make sure that the curator is working, we have to make sure the CrowdStrike is collecting the data and all of that. There are people who do that, and good. There are also people who make sure that organizations identify their high-risk assets and that they do assessments. And maybe I'm biased, I don't know, but I think all the roles are important, but I think one of the most important roles in cybersecurity are those that actually make sure that assessments are done. Because how do you know that you have good governance in place if you don't do an assessment? How do you know that you're in compliance if you don't do an assessment? How do you know that your network engineering guy is doing what he's supposed to be doing, complying with the framework, complying with the security controls in place if you don't do a risk assessment to assess how he's doing his work? So I think I have one of the most important jobs in cybersecurity, y'all. That's to me. And now, look, you can talk whatever you want to talk about your job within cybersecurity, but this is what I do. I'm the auditor. I'm the one that comes in to make sure that you're doing the right things, to make sure that these controls that you put in place, that they've been implemented well, that they're functioning appropriately, and they're giving you the right outcome. I'm the one who makes sure that. So let me break that control down to you. Okay, so for example, and this is the example I use in my training, okay? So for example, you're a landlord, you own a house, maybe you're an empty nester, maybe all your kids are grown, they've gone. Now you're a landlord, you have this 5-bedroom house and you're there by yourself. So you said, you know what? I think I'm gonna take 2 of the rooms and then rent out the rest of the rooms, okay? So now you have tenants, okay? And in order for you to protect your home, you put a CCTV outside the door. And so that CCTV, you just put it outside. I'm the one, now you as a landlord, you now say, okay, you know what? I want to make sure that this CCTV is doing what it's supposed to be doing. Because all I know is I'm going to call someone to install it, but then they've installed it. How do I check it to make sure that it's doing the right thing? You call me. I'm not a Ghostbuster, but I'm a security control buster. I make sure that you put that control, which is the CCTV, hanging outside on your door, is functioning well and it's capturing everything it's supposed to capture. And I'll make sure that every year or every 6 months, you call me and make sure that that CCTV is still doing what it's supposed to be doing. That's my job. The person that they call to make sure that the controls that are put in place are implemented well. Okay, I help the organization stay secure. I help the organization prevent fines because there are frameworks out there that organizations have to comply with. So I help you make sure that you comply with them. So that's why I'm showing you this beautiful branches in cybersecurity. Is like a tree. Cybersecurity is like this huge tree that has different branches going up. You can pitch your tent on one branch, or you decide, okay, I don't like that branch. I think I want to pitch on this one. But the most important thing for you to do as a cybersecurity aspirant, the first step is decide, am I technical or non-technical? Now, listen, when I say non-technical, okay, you might not be the one configuring the firewall and all of that. Okay, you might not be the one writing the codes, but you should understand how technology works. Okay, how does a firewall, how does that work? I didn't know none of that when I started out in cybersecurity, but over the years, I know how firewall works because I'm the one who has to take that control that talks about firewall configuration, go to the network engineer, go to them and say, okay, I want you to show me how you've configured this firewall to make sure that it's on deny all. Okay, deny all and then allow some certain traffics to come in. I just don't want to take your word for it, Mr. Network Engineer Man. I want to see screenshots to make sure that these things are actually configured. I want you to run a report for me to see how many traffics were blocked, how many traffics were allowed to come into the network. That, my people, that's my job. And so I hope this is giving you a little bit of clarity. You can download this map. Just go to Google and type in cybersecurity map, and it will come up with this map for you. And guess what? You can put in this map, put it into ChatGPT, put in your where you're coming from, your previous experience, and ask ChatGPT, where do I fit with my current resume? Where is the best place for me? Or better still, be on the lookout. We're developing an app right now that's actually it's going to help cybersecurity aspirants who want to get into the field of cybersecurity. They don't know where to start. We have an app to help you gain that clarity. So this is where I'm going to stop. Until next time, I'm your host, Mubo, and I love cybersecurity. Okay, so I hope you love it too. So and I hope this has been helpful. And if you need any kind of have any kind of questions, guess what? Email me, contact@cybercareerpaths with an S, path with an S.com. Okay, all right. Or there's going to be a link below, so you can click on the link and book a call. All right. All righty. So take care and talk to you later.